let's talk about what is actually going on while I'm sleeping. And, again, back to this kind of Darwinian concept, being knocked out for a 30-year day when you're on the savannah, it must be important, because this ain't good. If you've watched some of the, Okavango Delta things, you don't need much time to be out to get taken out by the lion or the wildebeest or whatever. So, there must be some really important things happening here. And I think you even look at sleep to teach us about ourselves, which is fascinating. But, what's so important to shut us down for those 8 hours, more if you're a kid? And I watch my boys sleep, and I'm just wondering what's going on there. Because, like I said, it must be super important for our own survival if you're willing to sacrifice a third of your aware time to keep it going.
Yeah, it's a great point. If you take a step back and you think about this thing called sleep, so when we're asleep, we're not finding a mate, we're not reproducing, we're not socially interacting, we're not gathering food, and worst of all, we're vulnerable to predation. Now, on any one of those grounds, sleep should have been strongly selected against in the course of evolution. Add them up as a collective, what on earth? If sleep doesn't serve an absolutely vital function, it is the biggest mistake the evolutionary process has ever made. And now we're realizing that Mother Nature did not make a spectacular blunder, that sleep just services every single system within the body. And the changes in the mind and the changes in the brain that happen, that we've been revealing, are stunning. And now you can see what a remarkable investment sleep is, why sleep needed to evolve. Actually, though, I put another theory out there in the book. Maybe sleep did not evolve. Why do we assume that we started off awake and then evolved to sleep? And I put forward an idea, which I think is very probably difficult to prove, but that sleep was the default state from which wakefulness emerged, rather than the other way around, that we actually sort of woke up to sort of wake up and become awake.
It's an interesting way to look at it, isn't it? Because that means that you're coming out of this sleep state to maybe go take care of some things, where then you got to get back to where you should be.
Correct. Right, and that's why I wanted to present that theory in the book, and why I like it, because I think it turns the tables on how we think about sleep as a necessity. We think about wakefulness as being the thing that's necessary, that we accomplish so much, and sleep is the price that we pay for wakefulness. And yes, that's true in part because sleep is reparatory. It repairs a huge amount of the things that happen with wakefulness. And I've sometimes said that if you look at the data, wakefulness is low-level brain damage, and it's very clear that that's the case. And sleep provides a sort of a repairing and a cleansing of that.
Low-level brain damage. That's hard for people to hear, right?
It is, until you realize, if you come back to the stance that you just sort of described elegantly from the theory that we started off from sleep and then we opportunistically began to have these periods of wakefulness, but we always had to go back to the default of sleep because it's so necessary. Sleep is a life support system, and it is Mother Nature's best effort yet at immortality. I've seen nothing else that comes close to it.